friends, continuing with the episodes that I have planned for the gem and jewelry industry, which, as I mentioned in my last episode, is something that is very close to my heart. I am what I am because of the industry, and I've spent 30 years in the industry. Today, I'm going to talk about what designers and jewelry manufacturers can do to step up their game and, as I said last time, re-establish the status and the value of diamonds in the markets today. As I said last time, we have, to a certain extent, missed the boat. But I am still optimistic. And I believe that we still have a chance to turn around and make sure that this industry will be a success. As I said many years back, shift happens. And only we can make this shift happen. So we need to make sure that we get on board and make this shift happen. In the last episode, I spoke about what diamond industry, the diamond importers, the diamond traders, the diamond manufacturers can do to help this process, whether they are in the natural diamond space or they are in the lab-grown diamond space. Though most of the big players and maybe a lot of the small players are in both the spaces. But I'm sure they are interested in maintaining the success of both these products. As I said in the last episode also, I'm referring to a lot of the last episode things, is that natural diamonds and lab-grown diamonds are two distinctly different products. And, well, we may have mixed up a little, but let us be clear in our mind that they are two different and distinct products. And the only thing that is common between them is that they share the same properties of chemical refractivity index, density, and various things that make it what it is. While natural diamonds, as we say, takes millions and billions of years to come out, the lab-grown diamond comes out pretty fast. So it has less of a heritage, so to say. While we did talk in the last episode of how the diamond industry can react and take steps to make sure that the value and the status of diamonds is maintained, and that there is an opportunity to plan your business model and strategy in such a way that it is a win-win situation for both the products, the natural diamonds as well as the lab-grown diamonds. I also mentioned that it needs to be an integrated effect. Everybody in the pipeline, the three main segments that I identified are the diamond merchants, are the jewelry manufacturers and designers, and at the end of the pipeline are the retailers. I believe that all three need to get on the same page, collaborate, and work as a team to make sure that this shift and this success that we are talking of comes about. Having said this, let me first talk of the design aspect. And to elaborate and demonstrate what I am talking of, I am going to look at the construction business. The first houses were made of straw and mud. And when people discovered that wood is an option and that it gives better durability than the straw and mud houses, they started making houses of wood. So the initial few houses of wood may have been built pretty much along the lines of the mud and straw houses. As more and more designers realized that wood gives additional features that can make the house look different, better, more functional, and would offer the people staying inside it far more luxuries than what the mud and straw house. So you would see a distinct shift in the design from mud and straw to wooden houses. But the story doesn't stop there. What happens is that new material keeps coming. And as new material keeps coming, I believe it would be rather stupid. Okay, maybe a strong word, but I can't think of any other word right now. I think it would be rather stupid to just design product in the same way as you were doing with the previous raw material that you had, without using the additional features that the new material offers. So even after wood houses, and some of them were beautiful wood houses, came up, then came brick and cement. And this is something we all will be very easily able to relate to, because we've seen brick and cement houses all our lives. And you can see, at least from Google historical pictures, of the difference in design and the difference in the utility value of houses that were made of brick and cement compared to houses that were made of wood. So again, the designers, well, in that particular segment, we call them architects. Again, the designers, the architects, decided to rethink their design and see what additional features can be built into the houses so that the occupants are enjoying even better facilities and even better experiences staying in the house. And we have seen a myriad of designs, some of them which are absolutely unthinkable, which have proved that brick and mortar has been replaced by cement and concrete and has given a different look to the houses that were built. Because of the strong strength of cement, we even found that houses which used to be typically just one floor in the mud and straw case, to maybe two floors in the wooden case, to maybe 3 or 4 floors in the case of brick and mortar, now becoming huge structures using cement and concrete. And that changed not only the experience of staying in a house, but that changed the experience of the view that you had. The entire skyline started changing. But it was still pretty much like a matchbox. That's what I would call it. Okay, it was boxes of brick and mortar. And then on the scene comes steel and glass. And what we see today, which we think are simply amazing structures of modern design, is possible only because of the use of that steel and glass. And you see huge towers which are possible because glass is far lighter than cement and concrete. And therefore, the foundation can take more floors, so to say, compared to cement and concrete. And this is what I talk about when we talk of jewelry design. No wonder these designers or architects have done such a wonderful job that today, when somebody does something that is really great, we say, oh, he is the architect behind it. You all need to become architects, architects of the jewelry segment. What we have done, and that is most unfortunate, is that we had a product which was there for years and years to come. Yes, there were some changes that were made when we got the well-faceted round brilliants compared to the pole keys and rose cuts that we used to get earlier, and design did change. But where I am coming from today is when lab-grown diamonds came into the scene. The fallacy, the mistake that we made. So the only thing that we did when these new raw material came into being is that all we did is made our existing product cheaper by replacing the natural diamonds with lab-grown diamonds. We made the product more inexpensive, but we did not create something different, something that would be distinctive of lab-grown diamonds. And that was a big mistake. So how are designers going to help in this? The first thing is that you need to create segmented designs. As far as possible, avoid giving the same designs in both natural and lab-grown diamonds. And as I said last time, the natural grown diamonds collection, so to say, should be way above in terms of design, in terms of quality, in terms of finishing, in terms of presentation, in terms of the buying experience that the consumer would. And that is why it is required that everybody, right from the diamond merchant to the diamond jewelry retailer, need to get in sync with each other and build a strategy where all three of them will participate to make this shift happen and get diamond status re-established to the glory that it once had. So you need to start working on new concepts, new models, where, okay, you're talking of the natural diamonds, you're talking of something exclusive, maybe something more evergreen because people are not going to change it and rebuild it, so to say, as often as they want. Whereas something that is fast moving, which can target a much larger audience for the lab-grown diamond jewelry. And this is a shift that one needs to make. Not only that, beyond just getting into the pure traditional jewelry categories, so to say, rings, bracelet, necklaces, earrings, pendants, think of other ways in which you can make product using lab-grown diamonds, considering that it has certain properties which are the same as natural, but there are other properties it has which can make it more appealing to a larger segment of people. So you need to differentiate this, and that is going to start with you. And designers, let me tell you one thing. For you to do this, what you will definitely need to do is to understand what raw material is available by syncing with the diamond manufacturers or the growers in the case of lab grown and other people who are involved in giving you your raw material, which is polished diamonds. And at the other end, you will need to be in sync with the jewelry manufacturers to know what are the technologies that they have available with them by which you can use those new technologies to generate great new product. So this is very, very important for every jewelry designer to be aware of and to start practicing from day one. Okay, so take a call and say, okay, 2025, here I come. You will see product from me and my collaborating manufacturers and my collaborating suppliers. That is not going to be something that is run of the mill, which you have been seeing for the last 40, 50, 60 years. You're going to do something distinctly different. And why I've made this episode, including jewelry manufacturers in the whole talk, is because those designers can create something, but you need to be ready to put in that effort. There's a lot of research required. There may be some technique that needs to be developed or honed or tweaked so that you get the kind of product that the designer is talking of. You will need to sit with the designer as a manufacturer and see, okay, you are doing this. What is the final look you're expecting? And then sit down with your production team and say, okay, this is what we want. How the hell are we going to get it? And that is very, very, very important. So manufacturers, you need to also be willing to invest in the research. I work with a company. I work with a very dear friend of mine who does a lot of my product. And I can assure you, he thinks my product is the pits because he personally has to devote lots of time into making sure that technically that product can be manufactured at a good productivity rate within his factory. Okay. But there is an advantage in doing that. As I always say, my product is something that probably is not available in the store next door or the store after that. And therefore, when I am selling something, if that person likes what I'm selling, that person has to come to me and cannot even come and tell me that, okay, it's available in the next stop for 10% cheaper than whatever. He might bargain with me. I'm most happy with that. But he's not going to compare my price with somebody else. And this will make a distinctive difference in your marketing as well as your relationship as a manufacturer and creator of fine jewelry, whether it is a natural or lab grown, with your retailer, because he's also going to get an edge in selling when he buys from you. There are certain norms you will have to follow. That is a part of the strategy that you will build. But yes, you need to. Another thing I would like to say is that you will, before I say you will, let me say, I believe that most people who buy brands buy it because they want the person looking at them to know that they are wearing that brand. I'm talking of research that was done many, many years ago, maybe about 15 years ago. But it showed that the consumers who were surveyed, there were less than 10% of the consumers who said that they bought a brand because of its features or its utility. They bought a brand because, okay, you're wearing a Rolex and you see the crown. Okay, this guy has got it. It's his time. It's not the time that it tells. So features and functions are, really speaking, irrelevant at this stage. Okay, it's the same with clothes. A shirt is as good as any other shirt. But the tag of having a Hugo Boss written on it automatically uplifts the value of that shirt, maybe 5x or 10x. And at the same time, there are other brands which, when put on it, are going to uplift the value just 2x or 3x. And if there is no brand on it, it's X. So when you design, nowadays, I would suggest that you think of doing it in such a way that visually your brand is promoted. Because that's what is going to give the recall value all the time to your consumers. And it will give you far more valuation as well as exposure rather than all the advertising that you would do. Designers, when you design, try to do a survey. I do it, and I'm suggesting that you do it, is that based on the market where you're operating, okay, create a team, a core team of maybe 5, 6, 7 retailers who are continuously in the face of the consumer, and run your designs by them, run your concepts by them, and see whether it is something that interests them or not. If it is, then make sure and help your manufacturer to continuously interpret your design the way you have visualized it and not miss out on any key feature that you had in mind when you were designing the product. So designers, manufacturers, you need to take the step. And if you do this, trust me, the retailer is going to cooperate with you because every retailer wants more footfalls. And the best way to get footfalls is to offer unique product which others don't. Stand out. Having said this, I will now talk again on Monday about what retailers can do and should be doing. There's maximum change that retailers should do because they are the final stage of the pipeline and they are the ones who are in the face of the consumer all the time. And as I said in many episodes, if the end of the pipeline, which is the retailer, is not moving his product, everybody in the pipeline is stuck. And then if you try to push it, all that will happen is the pipeline is going to burst. We don't want that happening. So next episode, we shall talk about what retailers can do to re-establish the status and value of diamonds. In the meantime, have a great weekend. I shall see you on Monday. Thank you. And do send in your comments and do share this with people who you think are going to enjoy reading this. Thank you.